Want to thank you for joining us today. Today we're talking back with Marion County Schools Director, Dr. Mark Griffith. Just following up kind of what has become our monthly update on all things Marion County School District. Dr. Griffith, thank you for being with us. We appreciate it and appreciate the info. Obviously, still on everybody's hot button is where we're going on the new Jasper Middle School. Excuse me. Can you kind of give us an update as to where we are and what's next?
Yes. Well, basically, I think in our last interview there, we had discussed that the commission had approved the purchase of the property. Prior to that, they did approve the soft cost monies, which is architectural fees, geotechnical, different things like that. So we're actually moving forward. And since the last interview, I've been pushing out. We own the rights to the plans on the new in 2007, the new Whitwell Middle School. So basically, the footprint is going to be similar to that with just a larger core. So we've had department heads looking, going up and walking with folks to around the perimeter of the Whitwell Middle School, in the school itself, whether it be in the kitchen, whether it be in the CDC classroom, basically just getting an idea of what things need to be tweaked, or actually having conversation with teachers, having conversations with cafeteria manager, having conversations with administration on the question would be, what would you do differently 14 years later on the design of this building? So basically we want to be able to tweak that. So all of that information I've met with the department heads, all of that information has been submitted to the architect. He is in the process of putting that together to be presented Monday night to the Board of Education for approval on the design itself. And one thing I'd like to say about these tweaks, it's not very much money involved on the tweaks, so we're still being stewards of taxpayer dollars when we're doing this. But it's like, one might just be, instead of a office being on one side of the room, it just might be moved over to the other side for supervision purposes or whatnot. So just little detailed things like that don't cost any additional monies, but basically just would make sense in the design for whether it be cafeteria managers, whether it be teachers, administration, and things like that. We have had some geotechnical studies done on the property. We've actually got a survey ordered for infrastructure survey, different things like that. I've actually spoken with Mayor Turner, Jasper City, on what they could do to help us out as far as helping us out with our water lines and sewer lines. Also ran into Alderman Price the other day, had a conversation with him, and just basically the city is just exactly what can we do to help in the process. So
I got you.
We certainly welcome that, and hopefully to get this thing rolling. I think the timeline that will be discussed will probably be somewhere in the area of breaking ground, possibly if the commission gets everything in place as far as bond issue and things like that. But we would probably be looking to break ground sometime in August or September.
I see. And we've talked about this privately. I don't remember if we've let everybody know, but the savings for basically using the plans that are already uh, under the ownership of the school district. Can you kind of give a picture as to what kind of savings that got us?
Well, I don't know the exact savings on that because there were still things that would have to be tweaked on that part of it. But I do know there was a lot of time saving
Saved.
added towards the discussion of the design and different things like that.
I got you.
Where we're at on the time frame is obviously we want to see something, some dirt moved sooner rather than later.
Sure, sure.
And I know the county commission and the county mayor and my board of education does as well as the public certainly does. And we do concur that needs to happen sooner rather than later. So it's a process, and anytime, obviously weather would play a factor in
Sure.
things once you start breaking ground, but we hope to somewhere in the area of 18 to 24 months completion, and be ready to move in a new facility and something that we can be proud of, as well as be stewards of taxpayer dollars.
I see. Now moving over a little further to the south there, the walking bridge for South Pittsburg High School. I know there was a advisory committee put together for looking at that. Where's that project stand?
We actually had that. We bid that out, did an RFP on that, and C&D Recycling submitted a bid on that. That bid has been sent to our insurance adjuster for review, and they're working through details, making sure that it falls into the area of what it needs to be, and we don't meet the threshold of insurance limits and things of that nature to get it paid for, because this project will be solely insurance dollars. Any bells or whistles or anything like that would have to be on the school system itself to do. But there again, we want to get a good product, good walking bridge, good vestibule in place there. But
and really good clearance.
yeah, absolutely outstanding clearance. And I think I know the insurance company definitely concurs with that because it got to be more of a once every few months thing as opposed to never happening again, unfortunately.
Right. Now, just so we're clear, the C&D bid is just for the removal of the remains of the old bridge. We're not talking about the construction of the new.
No, they're actually going to be the general contractor. They're using the
general
contractor's license to be able to do it and get things in place as soon as possible.
Gotcha. Okay. Glad I clarified that before I tried writing something. Obviously, we're getting to the end of what we'll call our pandemic recovery year. What are your numbers? Have been very low, all things considered. I know you had a lot of students taking advantage of the virtual environment, and that obviously helped your overall numbers of COVID diagnosis. Where do we stand now, kind of looking forward with the vaccine and kind of what you're hearing from state and federal and some of the pandemic recovery funds? How is all that going to play a part moving forward?
Well, as far as where we're at now, we feel like that we have rolled out a good reentry plan, and to be quite honest, we feel like that it was a pretty successful plan as compared to other districts across the U.S., across the state of Tennessee. So we're focused on maintaining that to the end of May, having that in place to the end of May. Then we feel like that there won't be obviously a need for a reentry plan in August, because we want to be as traditional as we possibly can be with the things in place, such as I think the pandemic has changed. Well, I know the pandemic has changed everything from what we used to do to the regular start. So we're going to continue to clean. We're going to continue to social distance when we can. We're going to continue to try to maintain it as a safe area as we possibly can, but to go back per se to the more traditional route. Now, I do think that the pandemic also changed the way we see a school system. I think that so right now we're looking at virtual platforms as to what that would look like to say possibly, if we have X number of kids that feel like they want to have their education, their academics delivered to them virtually. I think so. We're looking at what those options would look like.
Yeah.
As far as the pandemic monies that are available, there again we welcome all funds, but there's very general pots of restrictions on that money, such as security, air quality, learning loss, technology. So we will have our all classrooms up to speed by within a year. I know of the problem is not getting everything up to speed. The problem is getting the product in a timely manner, and that's we can administer a wish list all we want to, but we're still at the mercy of the vendors for how many computers they can get us, how many smart boards they can get us. But we will be a state-of-the-art classroom, technology in from every classroom in the system by this time next year. We certainly hope. Air quality, we're doing HVAC. We're doing in-house HVAC installations across the board in all 3 high schools. That plan has already been submitted and approved for the ESSER 2.0 monies. The ESSER 3.0 money, that window, that plan opens up here pretty soon. So we're actually meeting in the morning sometime on with the team as to what that's going to look like. The unfortunate thing about that is that I don't know, the ESSER 1.0 we got about $956,000. The 2.0 we got $3.6 million. The 3.0 we're getting right at $8 million. So, but
and Dr. Griffith, I'm sorry, excuse me, just for those that don't know, can you kind of explain what the ESSER money is?
That is basically monies, it's relief monies for anything that you had to spend money on due to the pandemic. Now, or to be able to improve your facilities, maintenance-wise, such as air quality, and different things like that. Learning loss, obviously, when we shut down in March of 2020, our students did not receive the education that we wanted them to receive, to be honest with you. I mean, the teachers were still working, trying to roll out things to the students, but we felt like that there was gaps in there that we could not meet. And to be honest with you, we feel that way over this year due to the fact I feel that it's more effective to learn with a teacher in the classroom personally, and that's just something that we need to address where the gaps are to try to get these students up to grade level, get them to where they need to be, where it's like this year has never really happened like it did. I'll say that. If we could. We're just trying to get them the gaps filled in and where they can build off that.
Okay, and I apologize. You were going into ESSER 3.0 before I interrupted you, but
And I think probably the only thing I was going to say is that the categories are still the same in with the 3.0. So basically, what it looks like, it'll look like more HVAC upgrades, more air quality upgrades, security. We're going to be spending a lot of money on security. But one thing I'd like to point out in this is any of these monies that we have in the past, we've obviously pulled that out of our general purpose budget. So, this $12 million that's sitting here, that's not just because they've got it earmarked for certain things. That's not a bad thing, because we're able to free up quite a bit of funds of our general purpose budget to utilize that elsewhere, such as possibly roofs, different things like that. I know Director Brown, his budget probably runs somewhere in the area of $500,000 to $250 any given year. So that a lot of that's roofs, a lot of that's HVAC upgrades, a lot of is different things that we're going to be able to address with this $12 million of money from the federal government. So it's not at all a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's just the timeline that they've got us under. I think the 3.0 now has pushed out to September 2024. We have to have those spent out, and the others was September 2023, I think. So, but like I said, our plan's been approved for 2.0. We're going to hit the ground running tomorrow, next week, on putting the plan together for our assert 3.0. Just to try to get things in place and move on, and hopefully not have another year like we've had in the past. This has been, I won't say the most trying personal year of my superintendency, but I've just started 15 years, and I tell you what, professionally, this was a rough year to be a superintendent.
Yeah, didn't your 5-year contract get approved right before the pandemic hit?
Yes.
How bad did you want to be in the classroom then?
Honestly, I still enjoy the job, and as long as the board and the people see fit, I think I'd like to continue a few more years, but it was a rough year.
And I'm not going to keep you all day. I know it feels like it, but well, you've had some push from the MCEA about the struggles with the teachers having to basically teach two different formats, right, being the classroom and the virtual. And I know there's been some discussions and some reservations and conversations with principals. Can you kind of explain what moving forward you're looking at doing to address that?
Basically, moving forward, we're not looking to have a live Zoom setting like we are now. We're either looking at programs to deliver the curriculum and or individuals to deliver the curriculum. We don't think we're going to have to ask teachers to do what they've done this year. And we didn't, to be honest with you, we didn't want to do it this year, but it was just the hand that was dealt to us due to the pandemic. So we had to have a pretty quick turnaround as to where we're going with that, because there again, we felt that parent choice was needed this whole year, and able to do that, whether it be the best setting, whether it be zooming in on classes or being in person.
Yeah.
But I think the 2021-2022 school year will look entirely different. From what I think, from our conversation with the assistant superintendent this morning, as far as we move on, we're gonna have we're not going to have a one size fits all. I say that, but I said, but we'll have accommodations in place. Like I said, whether it be a program that we purchase through the assert monies or whatever, in order to have a virtual platform in the future.
I got you. So basically, teachers will be all classroom in person, and that's what they'll have to plan for. I know there was a conversation once upon a time that if there was a need for an online platform, looking at making sure that's all they had to do instead of trying to wear both hats.
That's right.
So, and then as quick as that thought came, it disappeared. um, Obviously, we got graduation coming up on the horizon. This will be the first year that we're not going to do marathon since a few years ago, but we're breaking those up over a couple of days. Do you happen to have the graduation schedule right there?
I do not.
Okay. Well,
I can get one for
you. We might edit this video. Who knows? But yeah, obviously, I will mention, just as a steward of your website, you may want to look at an easier link to that. But other than that, is there anything else that just kind of hit your radar that?
I think not. I think if our next month interview, there'll be a lot more on the building project. I think we'll have actually more clear, precise timelines on where we're going to go with it, and so I just look forward to this monthly, to be able to inform the people of Marion County as to where we are, and this is something I hope we continue to do.
Well, long as you're game, I'm game too. So, but other than that, I just want to thank the viewers for tuning in. I thank Dr. Griffith for spending a little time with us, and we'll see you in, let's say about 30 days.
Sounds good.
Thanks very much.